Traffic danger created by e-bikes, illegal mopeds, various motorized two-wheel conveyances, it's a hot issue. People are talking about it, and rightfully so, because these are new entrants into our urban traffic flow here in New York City, and because people don't necessarily learn how to use them. They just buy them, hop on them, and just start doing whatever they feel like. And there's very little enforcement by NYPD to try to make sure that people are operating safely. But what we do have is some data to dispel what I think is a real distorted view of the relative risk caused by different modes of transport here in the city. We have a report, in fact, that just came out in the last month from New York City Controller Brad Lander. You can get the report, and I'd urge you to get it and read it online by Googling Lander, micromobility, safety, and you'll get right to it. Anyway, the statistics show that last year, in terms of pedestrian deaths in New York City, we've had a vision program now for over 10 years where we have been working so hard to try to drive down the number of traffic deaths to zero. But last year, there were 100 pedestrians killed by four-wheeled motor vehicles in New York City. You want to compare the number of deaths caused by non-motorized pedal bicycles? Zero. There have been a year here and a year there over the last 10 years where one pedestrian, and sometimes even two in a year, have been killed by bicyclists. And that's one or two too many, for sure. I believe in Vision Zero, and I believe it's achievable. In fact, we have reduced the number of traffic deaths caused by cyclists significantly since the Vision Zero program began. It used to be more like one pretty much every year, sometimes two. Now it's usually zero. But for motorists, we have not had nearly as much success in reducing the 100+ pedestrians that motorists kill in New York City every year. Now, since 2020, we did treat a number of motorized two-wheel conveyances as bicycles starting in the fall of 2020. Some of those are classed as bicycles and don't require vehicle insurance or registration. Those are conveyances with operable pedals that have a maximum speed of 25 miles per hour, which is the citywide speed limit, except where designated otherwise. Those motorized conveyances that are lawful within that set of parameters have caused 2 deaths last year, 2 too many, but still compared to the 100 caused by four-wheeled motor vehicles, you see that a wave of drama has swept through and made people blind to what the real statistics are. And the same is true with mopeds that can go faster than 25 miles per hour and are not lawful on the street and typically don't have insurance or registration. Those vehicles kill just a handful of people. It's a growing number and it requires our attention. We need to figure out how to get the operators of mopeds to switch to lawful conveyances, to obtain insurance where the risks they pose indicate that it's required, and to have a meaningful regulatory framework for this new class of vehicles that have 2 wheels but have a mass approaching that of a four-wheeled motor vehicle and speeds approaching what you see in a four-wheel motor vehicle. But even if you put every non-motor vehicle conveyance together as a force for harm on our streets, you're talking about no more than 4 or 5 deaths a year compared to 100 caused by motor vehicles. And, I can only describe as car blindness the attitude that you hear people espouse, that they don't feel safe walking in the streets because there's so many mopeds around, because, that's the real danger in the streets. It's just not upheld empirically. We have to pay attention to what the facts are instead of making up facts to fit the drama generated by introduction of a new type of motor vehicle into our urban streetscape. It's just not justified.